Position over submission. You've probably heard your coach say that phrase many, many times to you guys. What does it mean and why is it important? Put simply, your positional dominant skill set is way more important than your submission skill set when it comes to self-defense, and also just overall when it comes to the important skill sets of jiu-jitsu, even if it's just sport jiu-jitsu. Why is that? Well, if I'm unable to achieve positional dominance on somebody in a fight, that means I'm putting myself in situations in which I can get struck and also where I can get submitted. So I don't want to be there, obviously. I want to make sure I have good positional skills so that I can funnel people into positions where they can't strike me, where I can strike them, and where I can start looking for submissions. If I hyper-focus on diving for submissions without focusing on whether I already have established positional dominance, I'm way more likely to lose this submission anyway. So if you want to have a good submission skill set, you're going to need good positional skill sets too. You're going to need to have solid entries into dominant position, and you're going to need to have solid retention once you get into those dominant positions before you can have successful submission skills. So that means perhaps stop looking for the flying arm bars, for the Imanari rolls, for the flying triangles, for the submissions that look really fancy and don't require you to, or the leg locks even, you know, if you're just snatching ankles and trying to rip them, don't hyper-focus on that over passing guard, getting takedowns, getting sweeps, making sure that you can hold your pins, because ultimately, if you have a good foundational skill set when it comes to those things, then you're going to be able to easily add the submission skill sets later on until eventually, you know what, you may be hitting the flying arm bars, the flying triangles, the Imanari rolls, etc., because you already have solid positional skill sets and you're able to funnel people into that stuff and use your other skill sets to threaten people. So if I'm an ineffective passer, for instance, if I'm trying to go for leg locks from the top passing position, it's going to be harder to do because people are going to realize that that's my only real threat. However, if I'm a good guard passer, then the leg lock much more easily opens up because I'm threatening them in both directions. I'm threatening them with guard passes and with my ability to snatch a leg. So they're having to focus on defending both things instead of just one. So it becomes harder for the person defending to make sure that they're both not letting me pass and not letting me snatch their legs. So you want to make sure that you're not abandoning the really important foundational skill sets, the guard passing, the pinning, the sweeping, the takedowns, all that stuff. It's super important that you guys do that. Not only for sport jiu-jitsu, but for fights. Like I've already mentioned, if you are poor at holding people down, if you're not able to hold people down, people are going to get right back up. They're going to get back into positions where they can hit you, and you're not going to be able to implement your offensive jiu-jitsu as effectively. You're not going to be able to implement your submissions as effectively. Think about it this way, right? If I can only hold someone down in the mount for 10 seconds, I have 10 seconds to try to submit them before they're going to escape. But if I can hold them down indefinitely, I can take my time, I can be much more patient, and I can slowly funnel people into whatever submission that I want. So you want to focus on the positional skill sets first before you hyper-focus on the submission skill sets. And when you're in dominant position, you always want to make sure that you've successfully held the person down and that they're unable to escape before you start attempting this submission. It's going to be much harder to finish a submission if they're already partway through their escape when you attempt it versus if you're crushing them in the position and slowly working your way towards it. So I hope this video was informative. If you think it was, smash that thumbs up button. Make sure you share with your friends. Make sure you're also subscribe to the channel if you're new. Also, make sure you guys check us out on Rumble. It is a censorship-free alternative to YouTube where we're posting all our content. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll catch you next time.